So good morning, everyone. Today, I think it is the first module of this semester, isn't it? Or you have already done any other module? Because according to my timetable, today is the first module. Okay, so
It is the
aging and
first
social.
module, ma'am. It is
Yeah,
our first
okay,
module.
right. So I think it will be a very good start for you. And you have seen your schedule. Okay. Do you have your schedule in front of you, like your timetable? Do you have in front of you? You can see there is a change the way they have set uh, the timetable. So you see tutorial and self-reading per week, right? So we expect you to at least to have some reading 8 hours in between the session, right? So because we want you to be like, because we have seen from the exam scripts, lots of learners have not like apply the theory. They have not like, there is no further reading. So the university has decided that from now on, we will be having, like you see, self-reading hours. And the self-reading will be for my module. I know you are all, some of you are adult learner. So I want you to read at least the module. How do you say, the chapters. Okay, so if you can, before you come, you read the manual. Okay, so you read what I will tell you, what to read, some research. And because it is an online session, it's good if you ask me the question, right? So as you know, for this module, for the exam, there will be moderator, because you are in the third year now. For all your papers, there will be the examiner, one moderator, and one external examiner to look into your scripts, your exam scripts and assignment. And I think you are doing your dissertation, right? So guys, you have to be very focused for this last semester and try to read. Okay, I know you have loads to do, your work, you have other responsibility, so try to read at least, if at least two or three pages, like, so that you can ask question, right? So who has gone through the manual? How many? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. How many of you have gone through the manual? At least unit 1. No one, right? So today, guys, we are going to do, so for this stand. So after this session, I would advise you all to go through this first unit, right? If you go through the, not the, so through the first unit, when you read, you will understand what is aging. Okay, so why aging and social work practice? Because we are facing an aging population, not only in Mauritius but worldwide, right? So for you, I know some of you, your device, you don't have like access to your microphone. You are doing the class through your mobile phone. So anyway, you can answer me on the chat, right? So I want this session, you have done class with me, NGO, CSR, and social work. So I want you to be very interactive in Creole, in French, or in English, right? So that it will be very like you will get fruitful information from everyone. Okay, so this should be a very participative class, right? Do you agree? Raise your hand. Anything you can answer, because we will learn from each other. Yes, yes, Devika. And others? Great. So now, do you want any other way of teaching? right, you want me to do anything like group work, please do let me know. I know in the last session, so I will do a group work, but this is on the, I think it is on the 26th of October, right? So we will do a group work, like a revision group work. But today, let's start. So for you, what is aging? What is aging? Because before we start this module, we have to know, about, very good, Soba. We have to know social work practice. You have been doing social work practice 1, social work practice 2. You have been doing other like NGO CSR and like social practice, what we do, what NGOs are doing, what private sectors are doing, and others, right? So why aging and social work? What is aging? Shobha said aging is a biological process. Good. So aging is a biological process. Why? Because it starts from the birth and proceed. The day you take birth, you start to age, right? Any other comments? Any other reply? No. So aging and social work, right? So as Shobha said, aging is a biological process which starts from birth and proceed. So you see the chart, you see the diagram, how it is, natural process of growing. Yes, Hasina. So natural process of growing. You see from like a toddler to an elderly person. So what is happening in the world? Can someone say what is happening in the world in terms of aging? What is
Madam,
happening?
there is an aging population. People are living. Old people. There are more old people than young.
Right. Aging
Their
is on
survival,
rise.
their survival is much more than younger ones.
Why? So we can do that. Why? Why the survival birth is declining in many countries? Yes, Melissa? Yes, Devika?
I think because of the mode of living of these old people were different from that we are living actually. They were more active at that time, more healthier. This is why they
Mm-hmm.
are having a longer life.
Okay, mode of living. So one is because long time they were more active than today, right? And any other comment? Anyone want to add? No. Life cost, lifestyle. Yes, Devina. Life cost, lifestyle. And what about technology? Advancement in technology. Do you think this has better healthcare system, so better live, people live longer? Right. These are very good answers. So these are things that you should remember when you're writing your papers, right? So what is happening in the world? So the world's population is aging. Older persons are increasing in number, as one of you said, it's on rise and making up a growing share of the population in virtually every country. So when UN Economic and Social Affairs carried a research in 2017 on aging population, they found that not in only in many countries there is a growing share of population, right? Like elderly people, right? So the older population of the developing regions is growing much faster than in the developed regions, right? So the rapidly and drastic change is felt in the less developed countries. So you see the finding, okay? So it says that developing region is growing much faster, okay, and than the developed countries, okay. So these are the elements why there is an aging population, and where, like in the developed, less developed region, this has a comparison of what is the aging population, the trend of aging population. So what is the implication? Let's talk about what is the implication of an aging population first. Okay, because first at home, what is the implication? What is an impact? The impact of aging population on the family. If you understand this bit of the unit 1, it will be very easy for you to go all through the modules, right? So all through the units and all throughout the manual, right? So what is the implication of an aging population in the family setting, right? Anyone? Qui l'impact ena dans une famille quand nous ena un elderly. Alors, nous mettons bien simple. Qui est l'implication?
En fait, c'était ces guides, c'est la façon de vivre, c'est de montrer nous comment ça s'était passé, comme s'il y a une tradition qui nous capable de suivre dans le futur.
Right, very good. So this is a positive impact, positive caregiving responsibility. Right. Yes, Devika?
Madame, il y en a les deux côtés, pareil comme Devina Indien, il peut montrer nous culture, valeur et tout. Mais dans l'autre part, living dependent, parce qu'il est capable de faire travail, sur la santé pour commencer un petit peu pas bon, il peut être dependent, le famille, le garçon, la famille même, ça veut dire la famille pour encore indépendant pour les guetter en deux mots. Vous êtes donné plus beaucoup
commitment envers ça, oui. And someone said it was about the financial strain on the family, right? So this is a few of the things a few of the impacts. So what is the impact on the society? Society, pour gouvernement, pour communauté. Quel est l'impact there? An aging population.
Madame, côté pension, ça veut dire gouvernement besoin investe beaucoup. Surtout quand vous parlez à Maurice, nous besoin investe beaucoup. À ce même côté la santé aussi, parce qu'il vieillit du monde, il pour malade. Et ça veut dire qu'il y a beaucoup d'investment côté ça va vieillir du monde là. Après quelque part, là quand pour faire une statistique, si jamais vous guetter pour trouver vieillir du monde, ratio vieillir du monde peut monter et que jeune peut baisser. Mais là, il y a une distabilité, comme si dirait, vous dire, qui fait un vieux du monde, qui fait un jeune. Il besoin, comme si dirait, un écosystème pas pour balancer.
Exactement. Un écosystème que nous pouvons tigit jeune, ça veut dire nous pouvons ban tigit jeune avec beaucoup vieux, là ban jeune là pour bien payer more taxes, les pour bien burden le ban jeune, comment dire parce que comment on dit Devika, nous pouvons beaucoup ban spending qui gouvernement pour bien faire, nous pour bien en différents markets parce que comme un monde pour venir vieux, disons nous besoin assez là nous guetter na beaucoup de monde qui met couche, nous besoin na beaucoup residential care home parce qu'il y a beaucoup de familles qui paient beaucoup de couples là ban enfants ban vieux gens peut travailler d'autres pas personne pour que toute la case nous besoin beaucoup residential care home et a beaucoup d'implications mais ce côté positif comme on dit ce côté positif qui un positif dis-moi one positive impact on the society of an aging population.
Madame, les montrer nous capable d'apprendre avec l'expérience et que je mode de vie, comment je peux amener une vie plus longue, apprendre avec eux.
Right.
C'est ça. Oui.
Anyone want to add? No. So let's see what is its implications. So it affects nearly all sectors of society. You see, including labor, qui fait nous dire including labor, parce que nous prenons beaucoup, nous pas prenons nous prenons que ban jeunes, parce qu'ils ban gens pour vivre ailleurs. So, nous prenons l'impact, le labor, and financial markets, the demand for goods and services, pareil comme nous dire, nous pouvons besoin si nous in an aging, if you have an aging population, we must look for low floor bus. Nous besoin ban accessibility facilities, et comme nous dire, si nous avons beaucoup vieux du monde, nous besoin un more residential care home, nous besoin un daycare center, et comment Devika ou même dire, social protection, right? So such as housing, transportation, and social protection, as well as family structure and intergenerational ties, right? Kumanunjia, we discussed earlier about the opportunities and challenges. Aging population, both aging population have opportunities and challenges. So the challenges are that there will be more strain on the pension, as you mentioned, and social security system, increased demand for primary health care, recruitment of better trained health workforce, as well as need for long-term care for those suffering dementia, Alzheimer, and disabilities. You will see now in Mauritius, people are taking care of those having dementia, Alzheimer, and disabilities. 10 years back, pas de right? Mais dans European countries ou bien dans Scandinavian countries, you will see depuis longtemps, since long time, they have these facilities to look after people suffering from dementia, Alzheimer, and disabilities. Like if you see in Mauritius, if you see the security office, like the social security offices where elderly people regularly visit, you will see there is no proper accessibility for those who are disabled, right? So today and in the coming decades, many countries are facing fiscal and political pressures in relation to public system of healthcare, pension, and social protection for a growing older population, right? So political pressure, like now we are near to the election, you will see how people, how the politicians, how the political groups are taking okay, moi mon pour augmente pension, moi mon pas pour donne mon pas pour prendre l'intérêt le pension qui van bien du monde pour gagner. So these are, and they are facing fiscal problem because I'm happy I'm getting a nice pension, but what is its impact on the government, right? Because if the government is investing in pensions, like in healthcare, what is happening to other the investment of the government in other sector? So you see there is challenges, okay, in the society. Now, what is the opportunity? These are a few just for you to go and read for more opportunities. There will be one of the unit we will go into further into this opportunity and challenges. But today we are going to do it like we said, what is elderly, okay? Why we have an aging population, and then what is the opportunities and challenges, and then we are going to define what is old, right, and the perspectives. You will see slide by slide, okay? So now let's see a few opportunities. So the opportunities are that the elders are wonderful resources for their families and communities, and also for the government, for the society, because you will see lots of consultants, because they are knowledgeable people and experienced people, and they have the experience of life and more knowledgeable than the young. All older persons are increasingly seen nowadays as contributors to development, whose abilities to act for the betterment of themselves and the society should be woven into policies and programs at all levels. They say that as older persons are contributors to development, right, the society should, like when they are developing policies, it should be inclusive, right? Not only in policies, in activities, and in other action that the government or the civil society or the private sector are taking into like they are developing, right? So why? Because if you say, like, for example, we want elderly people to be happy, right? But we must have policy, right? If we want the elderly people to have a successful aging, right? Because these people have contributed when they were working, but they're still contributing. When you see they are buying things, okay, when they go to the supermarket, they still pay the 15% of the VAT, right? So they are still contributing in the society, right? So that's why we say, because these people are contributing, we have to make all policies, programs, strategies, action, blah, 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 inclusive, right? Inclusive not only for the elderly people, but also for people with disabilities, for gender, and so on, right? So any questions so far? Is it clear? Raise your hand if it's clear, then I will continue. Yes, okay. So at least I got a few, right? Because, guys, because you are going to write papers, you are going to write assignments, so you have to ask me question. I can just come and read the slides. You have to ask me question, because it's like when you interact, as I said earlier, when you interact, if you're answering, like, there's nothing wrong, we can correct it, right? So let's define what is old. So defining old is further challenged by the changing average lifespan of human being, right? What is old? Like, I think someone said to me, it's a biological process. It's not only biological process. Now we see how we are going to define old from different perspectives. So, guys, you must know this, the perspectives of old, right? Because in all the papers, since this module has been introduced at the university, I see that there are things on perspective. So you have to be very, you have to know what is the perspectives of older perspective, how they have defined old people, right? So there are other definitions of old that go beyond chronological age. So what is chronological for you, guys? What is chronological? Yes, Shevi? What is chronological? You raise your hand. Allez, guys, qu'est-ce que ça veut dire chronological? Chrono. Systématique. Ok. Les différentes étapes de la vie. Oui, c'est bon. Chronological? Numbers. It's numbers. Par exemple, nous get chronological 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It's numbers, right? So growing old is a biological process that affects the functioning of the individual with respect to activities and role. Old age as a construct, as a social construct, is often associated with a change of social roles, right? Nous trouvons, nous en chronological, nous en biological, nous en social construct, right? And activities, for example, nous jali social perspective, c'est, par exemple, nous venons grands-parents, nous venons un pensionnaire. So older person often define old age as a stage at which functional mental and physical capacity is declining and people are more prone to disease or disabilities. Now, tell me, combien de definitions in là-dedans? Combien de perspectives in là-dedans? Je fais que j'ai 3 là. 4e là, c'est quoi? Allez, vous êtes? Y allez? The first one is Devika?
Mental.
Oh, yeah. Disease and disabilities. Yes. So it's about the function. Okay? Disabilities. Right? Dimoun là, pas capable marcher. Right? Premier là, c'est chronological. Ça veut dire numbers. Mauvais. Ça nous dit, quand on veut faire l'anniversaire, nous dit 1 year old, 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years. Biological, c'est nous ban organs qui peut gagner un problème, wear and tear, right? Social construct, c'est société qui dit à nous, oh, nous venons grands-parents, nous venons pensionnaires, et functional, c'est quand nous peut pas marcher, right? Nous peut gagner disability, nous peut gagner dementia, nous peut gagner des affaires. So here, according to UNFPA, IJAO, qui definition all, les capables defined by chronological, biological, social construct, and functional. Is it clear? C'est clair là, vous êtes? So
Oui,
as we
madame.
said, there are many definitions of aging, depending upon the context and country. Right. For example, dans Maurice, qui s'en a connaît Maurice qui nous dit old people? From what age? Une vieille. Age, vous pouvez demander, pas de functional ou social contract.
55 ans.
60.
55.
55, OK. Parce que senior citizen bien accepté 55 ans. Mais, generally speaking, like pension que nous gagnons, salaire là, nous venons old, 60, non? Right? C'est qui, mon pensée, qui considéré qu'on nous peut, pareil comme United Nations, l'indefine 60 plus. Quand même, nous connaissons, Aster, nous gagnons jusqu'à 65, nous capables de rester dans le travail. So, ça même qui peut dire, there are many definitions of aging depending upon the context and the country. So, as far back as 1875 in Britain, the Friendly Societies Act enacted the definition of old age, any age after 50. Yet pension schemes mostly use age 60 or 65 years for eligibility. Trouvez là, ban là de Britain, India, and age and elderly 50. But the UN has not adopted a standard criteria, but generally use 60 plus years to refer to the older population. So currently, there is no United Nations standard numerical criterion, but UN agreed, okay? In agreed cutoff is 60 plus years to refer to the older population. So this line which divides younger and older cohorts of a population is also used by demographers. Ça veut dire que moi, mon père fait une recherche, disons le elderly, mon cutoff, c'est comme pour dire mon père fait un elderly, mon dire OK, 60 plus. Mon papa pour me faire less than. Ça me dit il fait un agreed cutoff years, right? So if you are doing your dissertation, you are doing your dissertation or you have already submitted? You are doing your dissertation? Chevy? Yes, Devina. So if you're doing your dissertation, if you're doing your, I think I have a few of you. So however, in many developed countries, the age of 65, you see, is used as a reference point for older person, as this is often the age at which persons become eligible for old age social security benefit. You see, the base quand du moun la pe gen ban benefits se pe base quand du moun la pe gen pension. So there is no exact definition of old, and this concept has different meanings in different societies. So that is a normative process through which nobody can escape. Personne, nous pas capable de dire moi tout le temps mon pour jeune. Right? So as we grow old, there are a lot of changes which take place. Okay? What changes take place, guys? When we grow old? What changes?
Physical capabilities.
Appearance. Yeah, physical capabilities, physical appearance, CVP vin, c'est là, pas qu'on est même si CVP vin blanc parce qu'il peut vin gray, parce qu'il ban jeune même peut finir mettre gray, peut finir coloré, nous gagne ban wrinkles, nous gagne. So these are the things that changes when you grow old. Therefore, in our lifespan development, this is a lost series of adaptation to which we must face. Several authors have attempted to define aging, right? So aging, this is one of the definition. So aging is the process of growing old, is defined as the gradual biological impairment of normal function, probably as a result of changes made to cells and structural components. Ça nous dit, nous gagne, wear and tear. Parce qu'il y a des radicals, ça fait qu'il nous peut manger, tout ça là. Ça même nous dit, à ce là, nous trouvons que jeunes aussi, il y a beaucoup malades, mais plus c'est banji, right? So gradual biological impairment, okay, of normal functioning, right? Any question, guys? Any clarification? No? Right, so we continue. Now, when there is wear and tear, hold on. These changes would consequently have a direct impact on the functional ability of organs, such as the heart, kidney, and lungs, biological system, such as the nervous, digestive, and reproductive system, and ultimately the organism as a whole, right? So now let's go to look into some of the definition. So according to Abersole and Hess, an individual ages biologically, psychologically, sociologically, spiritually, as a unitary being. So Crook says is whenever people lose the productive, le travail, reproductive function, ça veut dire que n'est plus capable de reproduire, when they because of physical decline can no longer carry out the work or family role. So productive, reproductive, biological, psychological, social, and spiritual, right? So different definition from different writers. Gorman state that the aging process is, of course, a biological reality which has its own dynamic, largely beyond human control. However, it is also subject to constructions by which each society makes sense of old age, right? Nous pas dire biological, oui, mais nous avons social construct. In the developed world, chronological times play a paramount role. Ça nous connaît, chronological time. Parce que c'est la même que nous dire 1 an, 2 ans, 3 ans. So the age of 60 or 65, roughly equivalent to retirement age, is in most developed countries, is said to be the beginning of old age. In many parts of the developing world, chronological time has little or no importance in the meaning of old age. So as I said, Gorman said, Socially constructed meaning of age are most significant, such as the role assigned to older people. In some cases, it is the loss of roles accompanying physical decline, which is significant in defining old age. Right. So you have seen, now these are the definition. So taking the definition, right, you will see what is perspective for you. Qu'est-ce que ça veut dire perspective? Je peux faire ça from different, in a definition from different perspectives. Qu'est-ce que tu comprends par different perspectives?
Différents points de vue.
Différents, sorry?
Point de vue.
Oui, différentes façons de way of seeing things, right? Parce que moi peux prendre elderly, if I take, moi faire une recherche sur elderly, Devina fait une recherche sur elderly, Sukan fait recherche sur elderly, on peut trouver chacun, si il prend, disons, moi, on peut prendre côté chronologie, ou on peut prendre côté, peu importe, hein. Là, nous pouvons trouver, quand nous avons fait nos recherches, nous pouvons trouver chacun, il y a presque, il n'a pas pareil, mais il y a des affaires qui sont aussi, qui n'est pas pareil comme les récents research là. Ça même nous dit, avec différentes perspectives, nous avons, quand nous faisons une recherche, nous avons beaucoup, comment je peux faire là, je peux faire, what you will do your dissertation, you will see when you will be doing your questionnaire, you will see the question. So these are the perspectives, what you want to analyze, what you want to see, okay? So you will see, you will have different, you are doing your research on elderly, but you will have different findings, right? So defining age with different perspective, all that we have done before, you will see some of them will repeat, like social aging, psychological aging, biological aging, and chronological aging. We are doing this because you have to know all about what is aging, how we define an aging population, an elderly person. So although profound philosophical views has been set forth earlier, research on the psychology of aging began with the work of Lambert in 1835 and was further advanced by Francis in the last quarter of the 19th century. So you see, since 1835, right, they have started to look into issues of aging, right? So Hall recognized the superficiality in regarding aging as the universe of development, right? And despite his specialization in child psychology, you see, the person was was a specialist in child psychology, struck an independent note suggesting that older people, like adolescents, have unique psychological process which probably exhibit a higher degree of variability than do the function of your youth, right? So we say, so you see different perspective, chronological, right? So chronological aging, as we said, so if you have to define or to give 2 perspective, 3 perspective, 4 perspective of aging, this should appear in your papers, right? If you have in your exam papers. So chronological aging, and if you can add like an example, right? So it's simply based on the age of the person and has nothing to do with health and other social status. It is an irreversible process. This is a very important word, irreversible. Pas qu'à renverser ça. Les pour continuer, right? We can't go back. Nous pas qu'à dire aujourd'hui nous 8 ans, après l'autre l'année nous pour 27 ans. Yesterday I was 62. What I just no, she's 26. Right. This is irreversible. You are 62, you are 62. Right? So it is a process upon which nobody has control. Inevitably, everyone will age one day. Right. Then chronological. You have to remember it in a way, right? That, par exemple, je vais prendre l'exemple, un daddy, nous tous nous avons une grand-mère, un grand-père ou bien un papa qui ne dépasse 60 ans. Pour ce récit capture perspective of aging, prenez l'exemple, là, je pour rappeler pour l'examen, right? So, after chronological aging, which is about age, about numbers, okay? So numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, nous connaissons un biological aging. Parce que nous pouvons trouver qui nous avons parents, enfin, moi-même, on finit age, nous avons parents, nous avons deterioration, nous avons physical changes in our body, right? So this perspective tries to explain aging as to deteriorations of physical changes in our body as a result of senescence, right? So these deteriorations cause damage to body organs and reduce their efficiency. Therefore, biological aging too is an irreversible process. It cannot be stopped or altered. Remember, chronological and biological, je veux dire, pas capable go back. Quand nous capables, disons, une solipène amputée, nous pouvons mettre un protège. Mais, il n'est pas capable, comment dire, de remplacer. Ce qui me peut dire, quand nous la santé, les détériorer, les continuer. Right? Il n'est pas capable de dire, oh, à ça, nous revenons Vincent. Nous pouvons galoper, nous pouvons faire ceci, là. Capable d'avoir exceptional cases. But, for normally, it's like that. And then we have social aging. As I said, social aging refers to the changes in social status as they advance in age, right? For example, a lady of 40 years old will be considered a grandmother if a daughter or son has given birth to a child. It is a social construct, essentially. Social veut dire social, jimoun, en dehors, right? And then we have psychological aging. Comment nous dire quand une vieille ça une vieille jimoun ça, pas qu'on est qui peut causer, right? Sometimes people repeat, elderly people repeat. One, ils pourraient dire affaire là, ban zen pour dire, mon quoi une fou, ou soit, pas reconnaître qui peut causer. Il peut redire ça, mon peut agacer, right? But this is normal, right? This is normal. Qui fait parce que jimoun là, une vieille some sense parler comment nous dire, right? So we have psychological aging. It is like stereotyping. The old age is often associated with decreased sensory and perceptual functioning. Here it is about perceptual functioning, not physical, right? But sensory, comme dire right? So the age of retirement in most society is often used as a stepping stone to show that people have entered old age, though the age of retirement varies, right? Then we have functional aging, right? So functional aging veut dire que du monde là pas capable longtemps les chaînes ordinaires ou soit un chauffeur, mais à ce so eyesight pas bon, il pas capable conduire ou soit OK une vieille, les reins peuvent faire mal, il n'est pas capable de faire physical activities. So functional aging is use the concept of functional age and formal age. Functional age is referred to when an individual is unable to perform certain physical functions, right? Il n'est pas capable. Il n'est pas capable fonctionne bien. Il n'est pas capable de faire un travail comme il peut faire avant. Vous pouvez trouver l'hypercisé. Right? Il va pas monter escalier. These are the examples that you can put when you're answering. So you have seen how many perspective definition of aging? Combien vous trouvez là? How many? Can someone tell me? 5. Yes. It's all about? Devina, it's all about? Anisha? 3 je peux trouver. Dis-moi ça, c'est qui nous fait dans premier slide. Previous, I mean. OK, Vinesh. Vous êtes des plus faciles. Let me see. Yes, chronological and biological. So remember, chronological, biological, social, psychological, and functional. Right. This is important, guys. You must remember these 5 perspective definition of aging. Right. So now let's see. Let's see what are the drivers that leads to aging. Allez, dis-moi, qui fait une aging population? Moi, tu demandes au commencement. OK? Qui? Dis-moi, vous êtes? An aging population. Comment gagne une aging population? Good. Falls in mortality. Very good. Rate. Okay. Go ahead. Others?
Madame?
Oui.
Mais si un jibun lui permet de se laver bien, mais définitivement, il pour grow old bien, ça veut dire il pas pour risquer, il pour amener se laver jusqu'à qu'il termine. In a good living, in a healthy life.
Yeah, this is you're talking about quality of life. This we will do. There's one unit on quality of life, successful aging. I'm talking about qui emmène an aging population. Comment on dit falls in mortality, right? Quand Jimoun papa pe mort, ok, qui est arrivé? Notre age. Comment on dit sur la santé pour ça, pour age. Okay, and then l'autre affaire, I'll pass through that, but I want you to reflect on that and tell me.
Less
Anyone?
birth rate.
Low birth rate. Yeah, decrease in. Yeah, good. Chevy. Others? Dès une fini gagner là. Ça veut birth rate in diminuer. Mortality in diminuer après. Access to new technology regarding health, oui, ça même. Nous avons force in mortality avec increase in life expectancy, c'est due to technological advancement, right? So you will see. So the demographic drivers of aging population, right? Guys, moi tu peux conseiller from early, I'll get ban papier d'examen, right? Je get ban papier d'examen. Et si vous avez une question, c'est comme on peut faire ban unit. If I'm doing the unit, say for example, you're on demographic drivers and you have seen a question on demographic drivers, you can ask me, Madam, how can we answer this question? Then we can, it will be good for you. No? That's what I'm saying. So if you can go through all these exams, at least for the past 5 years, right? 5 semesters, I mean, and you will see there are repetition. So you will see from the start itself, right? So you can ask me question, okay? So demographic drivers of aging population. The size and age composition of a population are determined jointly by 3 democratic processes, right? But there are 4. You will see there is one more. I will go through it. So there is fertility, mortality, migration, right? These This is a research carried out by UN in 2017. So around 1900, average life expectancy was between 45 and 50 years in the developed countries of that time. So all regions have experienced substantial increases in life expectancy since 1950. The International Federation of Aging, if you have time, go on website and look into the website of International Federation of Aging, okay? You will see lots of documents, lots of reports, and if you're doing your dissertation on aging, you will have many information, research that has been carried out by this institution, right? So state that as life expectancy pushes to 70s for men and well into 80s for women, more people want to be able to live their lives in full for as long as possible, right? So as the life expectancy at birth increases, you see, improvement in survival at all age account for a growing proportion of overall improvement in longevity. Okay? Parce que Jimoun, ça même, one of you said about technological advancement, it's about longevity. Ça veut dire qu'on a un improvement de technologie qui nous gagne. Bon médecine, bon care. Ça veut dire nous la vivons long, right? So while declining fertility and increasing longevity are the key drivers of population aging globally, international migration has also contributed to changing population structure in some countries and regions. So can someone tell me how migration, okay, has contributed to an aging population? How? How is it? No one? I will pick someone. Just wait. Okay. Ashna? Ashna? Qui m'a une migration di pe en a l'impact lo aging population? Allez. Quoi, observe un hint. Quand du monde migrate, qui sont là qui a les autres pays? Pour travailler, moi, peut dire autres là. Nous prenons l'exemple de Maurice. Qui sont là qui peut aller travailler dans le Canada? Ban vieux, ban jeune? Young people, right. So, young people, quand je peux quitter les autres pays, je perds les autres pays, right? Qui arrive de population dans nos pays? Qui monte dans nos pays? Man vieux. Yes or no? Answer, guys.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So now, what will happen? Say those who are going to Canada, right? They are, say, supposed to be 40 years old, right? Un groupe de monde dans le Canada, 40 ans de travail là-bas, qui peut arriver après 20 ans. Population du Canada having babies there abroad and leave the old in the former countries. Okay, so the old person who stay là, ici nous prenons une aging population, mais après 20 ans, Canada, ils vont vieillir plus parce que là-bas, parce que nous, du monde qui est là-bas, les la population là-bas aussi, ça veut dire ça aussi, les pour ENA, ok, les pour créer un aging population. Tout le monde qui peut aller 20 ans, 30 ans, et nous pouvons 60 ans, mais quand nous pouvons 60 ans, il y a un bon groupe qui est allé depuis Maurice, mais là-bas, je peux contribuer dans aging population. Ça veut dire que migration has also contributed to changing population age structure in some countries and regions. So in countries that are experiencing large immigration flows, international migration can slow the aging process, right? Yes, Devika?
Madame, mais il est capable le contraire aussi. C'est comment dire, un Jimoun reste ici et ben jeune il quitte une allée. C'est-à-dire, un vieux, il reste dans sa pays là même, mais quelque part là, il pas increase all people dans sa pays là même.
Ça même qui me dit, ça veut dire qu'il prend l'impact. Commencement me dire, ça veut dire Maurice, quand un jeune peut aller, un aging population pour monter dans Maurice, parce que un jeune il est allé là. Mais après 20 ans, 30 ans, qui peut arriver? Je ne pas oublier Maurice là. Je peux dire dans Canada aussi, pour un aging population, parce que tout ça, un jeune qui peut aller là, là, je peux bien zo. Qui, comment nous dire, pas qu'à changer ça. Mais là-bas aussi, pour un aging population, ça même qui peut dire où international migration can slow the aging process. OK? Parce que, quand un jeune pour aller au Canada, c'était là, il peut slow aging process. Mais qui peut happen temporarily? Après 20 ans, 30 ans, 40 ans, tout ça, man, du monde, c'est qui n'a jeune là, pour venir. Right? So, international can slow the aging process, at least temporarily, since migrants tend to be the young working age. However, migrants who remain in the country eventually will age into the older population. Right. Pareil comme on dit, Debika. Maurice, lui pour age, disons, nous ban jeune peut aller. Maurice pour finir une aging population, lui, parce que ban jeune, il a les autres. Mais quand on a là-bas, ban jeune, c'est la population qui peut monter. Mais temporaire, après some time, ça, tout ça, ban jeune là pour venir vieux. Right? Ça qui peut dire, migration, a un impact, aging population. Okay? The change of population's age structure. Is it clear now, Devika?
Oui, madame.
Okay. Now, this is life expectancy. You will have, I think, this diagram in your book, so you go and look into. So here, there we have learned about migration, right? Migration, one of the important, and we also had about mortality and fertility, right? We are going to repeat it, but you will see there is one more. So declining fertility, right? So the world's total fertility rate fell from 5 children per woman in 1950 to approximately 2.5 today and is projected to drop to about 2 by 2050. These declines are felt in developing countries where it is expected that the children population will drop by half in 2050. Say, for example, if you're revising declining fertility, you can go and check, like in Mauritius, the rate of fertility. So when you're answering, you can say that Mauritius, the declining fertility, say blah, 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 in the 10 past, in the 5 past years has declined such and such. You see? So the current fertility rate for world in 2020 was 2.48 per woman, and it has declined 0.41%, right? So the downward trend of birth rate result in the proportion of older people increasing faster than that of the children. Qui fait parce que plein d'enfants, tout ban ce qui peut exister peut vérifier. So this eventually leads to fewer children in the families, and hence the older age share of the population increases. Second one, increased longevity, as we said, because of advancement in technology. So globally, life expectancy has increased by more than 6 years between 2000 and 2019, from 66.8 years in 2000 to 70.4 years in 2019. If you go, if you Google, you will see these are the statistics of 2000 and 2019. You have recent statistics that you can go and look into. So longevity poses serious dilemma for government and the formulators of social policies. Why? Qui fait longevity poses serious dilemma? Nous tu fais causer previous quand nous tu faire one of the slides. Qui fait les poses?
Il n'y a plus beaucoup d'argent pour investir.
Voilà,
Du côté
divine.
la santé aussi.
Oui, bien sûr. There are moreover improvement in higher, so there should be improvement in higher standard of hygiene, easier access to medical treatment, health consciousness, so through better educational facilities and the availabilities of more choices in diet. And then we have forced in mortality. One of you mentioned about it. So before forced in mortality, a large cohort were born, okay, known as baby boomers. These are research. So fall in mortality. Là, nous pouvons guetter avec une technologie, avec une bon manger, inverted commas, ban bon manger, et na ban fall in mortality. Okay, nous avons ban vieux monde, nous pouvons sérum, nous pouvons tout cas comprimé, nous pouvons how we say home visit, tout ça là, nous avons senior citizen council qui peut make us happy. So there is false in mortality. Comment nous dire, senior citizen council as one of the example. When people are happy, so liés with stress. You know, stress is one of the most negative things that qui capable impacter le bandimoun, qui fait bandimoun malade, gain tout. Mais quand tu as dans un club senior citizen, they're happy, right? So force in mortality, and then, as I said before, there is migration. So these four are important, guys. So you will have force in mortality, increased longevity. Don't put if you have this answer, don't put fertility. You have to put either declining fertility or increased fertility. But what is fertility, right? And for example, because longevity, increase in longevity, decrease in longevity. So you have to know how to answer and force in mortality, and then inflows of migration, right? How inflows of migration has contributed to an aging population, right? And global trend, you will see, but these are up to how 1990, 2070, 2050, and 21. You will see how they have, there is projection, they have seen how there will be an aging population. Right. Any question, guys? No? Vinesh? No, madam. This is one of the easiest module because we are with all people every day. So if you understand, c'est quand vous c'est facile ce module là parce qu'il n'est pas technique. Comme nous avons un module de social work, alors tout ce que nous trouvons autour de nous trouvons senior citizen qui peut faire, nous pouvons trouver what is government is doing, what NGOs are doing, what we are doing, what families are doing for the elderly people, et how dans nos familles, comment un monde sur la santé peut détériorer, qui est capable de faire, qui n'est pas capable de faire. Alors, vous ne pouvez pas réviser si vous venez ou answer, ou vous capable de passer là-dedans. It's very easy, but you have to know how to answer. Qui est l'exemple bien important? Qui est la théorie? Parce que nous trouvons comment nous enfants peuvent answer une question, je ne peux pas mettre une théorie, which is very important, parce que théorie, c'est une chose que nous besoin connaître, qui recherche une faire, mais c'est là qu'il y a. Avant de comme ça, c'est là qu'il y a. Vous êtes capable relate tout ça, ok? Link tout ça à une recherche là. So, global trend. So, globally, it is said that there were 727 million people aged 65 years or over in 2020. Since women live longer than men, on average, they comprise the majority of older persons, especially at advanced ages, right? So over the next 3 decades, right? Over the next 3 decades, the number of older people worldwide is projected to more than double, over 1.5 million. Je trouve ça un chart là, qui dans 86, de 0.5, mais qui dans 21.00, de 3.1 million. Ça veut dire qu'il peut augmenter. It is increasing. So all regions will see an increase in the size of the older population between 2020 and 2050. Globally, the share of the population aged 65 years or over is expected to increase from 9.3% in 2020 to around 16.0% in 2050. Right? So you will see these are the global trends. You have to go and look on, you just tap UNDESA World Population Aging 2023 highlights. You will get new statistics about aging population. So now let's see what's happening in Mauritius. So what we have seen in the previous slide. Okay, one of you. It's just a catch up. Yeah. Who has not talked? Anusha? Babu Ramsami? Qui nous fait depuis ce matin là? Simple. Qui nous fait? Yes, Anusha?
Excuse me, bonjour.
Oui.
En fait, je viens de rentrer.
Aïe, pas de problème. Ok, Shoba?
Definition of old age.
Yeah.
Three major drives for aging population.
Okay, anyone add? Concept, definition of aging, migration. Yes, Devina. Others? Go ahead, guys. Challenges and opportunities, statistic, yeah, demographic drivers, yeah, good. So we have seen what is aging, different perspectives of aging in terms of chronological, biological, right, psychological, social, and functional. Then we have seen about the drivers of forcing mortality, increase in decline in fertility, increase in longevity, and migration. And before that, we have seen about the opportunities and challenges of an aging population in the society, in the family, and in the community in terms of the contributions, okay? Positive is about the contribution in the society. The negative, one of the negative is that government has to invest more on new sectors, new markets for these elderly people, like I said, having residential care homes, right? And then in the previous slides, we had some statistic about aging population on the global trend. Is it clear? So it was very, very simple definition of aging, definition of all, different perspective of aging, how do you say, challenges and opportunities, and drivers on aging. Now let's see about what is happening in Mauritius and what are the policies and strategies that has been put forward to improve the quality of life of older person. So as we said before, Mauritius is no exception, and the proportion of age 60 and over, which is around 10% of the total population, currently will reach 26.1% in 2050. This is a projection, right? This is a projection. Mauritius, as we know, is already an aging society. Those who are working at the Social Security Office, you will see the number of elderly people are increasing. So as per Statistic Mauritius, this is statistic of 2020, the Mauritian population consisted of total of 2,228 people who were above 60 years old in 2020. If I am not wrong, there are 3,000 now. Who is from Social Security? Devina? Are you from Social Security? Who is from Social Security? No. Aging population in Mauritius? Who have it? So you can go and look for this statistic. It's good for you to know about 20. Let me check for you. 2023. No, we still have like of 2022 economic and social indicators. You will see when you go Central Statistic Office, you will see the social indicators, and you will see the number of aging old elderly in Mauritius, right? So some worry about the damaging impact on economic growth. As I said, the challenges about the damaging impact on economic growth. Others say that the growing numbers of older people will bankrupt pension, health, and other welfare support system for the elderly. So in April 2002, a United Nations conference in Madrid sum up this darkening mood when it debated the possibility that the greatest threat to the quality of life in developed countries, more than war, disease, and natural disaster, is the aging of the population. Right. You see, these are policy context, how policies has been developed. As I said, you have seen, I think it was in 1853 that the first research was carried out to look into matters of older person. Then, in terms of policy, in April 2002, United Nations in Madrid summed the darkening mood of this aging population. So in 2022, right, 2000 in French. So in 2000, the 2002, they started to talk about. They started to see into issues of the aging population at the United Nations level. So in Madrid, they started. So as they said that in Madrid, sorry. So in Madrid, oh my God. So in Madrid, they said that they pictured a darkening mood when it debated. So they said that the greatest threat is, and the more than war, disease, and natural disasters, is the aging population. However, a study for the think tank Catalyst conclude that the fears of a demographic time bomb are overstated, because UN say it's just like a time bomb, right? It will have an impact negative. There will be lots of challenges. But for over 20 years, anxiety has been growing in all industrial economies that aging population threaten our collective future, right? But a report, the Catalyst report, argued that these demographic concerns are greatly exaggerated. Je dis non, les exagérés, c'est qu'ils se peut causer. Il n'y a pas une time bomb, right? The people an aging population, so you have to develop strategies, right? You have to develop strategies qui appease ça, right? They have to do things that will help this aging population. You know, there is an aging population with the trend of an increase in the aging population. So you have to do activities and action, policies, and all these things for them to have a good quality of life. So moreover, it rejects the logic that the human success story of longer life is turned into a problem. You see, they turn it into a problem. However, they do admit that actions needs to be taken to deal with the implication of changing its structure in society. They argue that we need to encourage policymakers to make it possible for older persons to live active and independent lives longer and remove any social and institutional barriers which prevent them from doing so. Right. This report says that, okay, United Nations is telling, research is telling that there is an aging population, and this aging population will have a great negative impact in the society, right? But we have to overcome these challenges by developing, okay, policies that will make these people, these older people, lead an active and independent life, right? So you see, there are different ways of thinking about this. So now let's see about how and from when people around the world started to look into matters of elderly people. So international commitment for the well-being of aging population. So the first World Assembly on Aging was held in Vienna. The Vienna International Plan of Action on Aging is the first international instrument on aging and provide a basis for the formulation of policies and program on aging, right? It was endorsed in 1982, and you can go and read about the resolution if you have some time. It's online, having been adopted earlier than same year at the World Assembly on Aging in Vienna. So it's strengthened. It says, when they have discussed, they said that it aimed to strengthen the capacities of government and civil society to deal effectively. And the Catalyst said that, the Catalyst report said, we have to look for strategies, right? So these talk about in Vienna, they came forward and they look into strategies to strengthen the capacity of government and civil society to deal effectively with the aging population and to address the developmental potential and dependency needs of older persons. It promotes regional and international cooperation, right? So how we are going to work together for the benefits of this older person, right? So they had 62 recommendations, right? 62 recommendations at this forum. And these 62 recommendations for action addressing research, data collection, analysis, training and education, as well as following sectoral area. In the following, so to help these people to have a successful aging, they should look into health and nutrition, protection of elderly consumers, housing and environment, family, social welfare, income security, and employment, as well as education. Now, these were the first at the first Vienna World Assembly. You see, World Assembly. And then what happened? Then in 1991, the UN Nation Principle for Older Persons, they came forward with 18 principles, which was clustered, right? Which was clustered relating to the status of older person. It was about independence, participation, care, self-fulfillment, and dignity. So if you go and read on the strategies, okay, not read, if you go and see about the strategies that government of Mauritius has taken since 1982, since the first General Assembly, you will see all the things that when they go and sign the treaty or they talk, they discuss, they come to their country, all the countries, and in Mauritius, they look into all these things, and you will see we have a national aging policy. You go, it's online, you will see into it how they have classify all this. So in 1991, as I said, it happened. And then in 1999, you will see the conceptual framework of the International Year of Older Person. The first International Year of Older Person was celebrated in 1999, and it was based on the plan and principle, which comprise of situation of older person, individual lifelong development, relationship between the generation, interrelationship of population, aging, and development. All right. Then it all throughout, then we have the Second World Assembly on Aging. This was to discuss what has been the finished agenda, the unfinished agenda, and what need to be done to better enhance the quality of the elderly person. So during the Second World Assembly on Aging, which took place in Madrid in 2002, the 2002 Madrid International Plan of Action on Aging was adopted, you have seen, to recognize, right? Now they have come forward to recognize many benefits of greater longevity to individual families and society. Families benefit, you will see, the positive aspect of an aging population. Families benefit from the contribution of older generation to the financial support, assistance with household maintenance, or participation in healthcare. If you have your manual with you, please highlight this. You will see how families benefit from an older population. And also, they have seen at this assembly that society also benefit from the experience of older person and from the contribution to the labor force, as well as from the volunteerism, philanthropy, and civic engagement. You see, there are opportunities. They are not time bomb, right? So MIPA also highlighted the need to consider all persons in development planning, right? As I said, policy should be inclusive, should take into consideration the contribution of the older person, and should take into consideration the inclusiveness of older person in all the policies, right? So emphasize that older person should be able to participate in and benefit equitably from the fruits of development to advance the health and well-being, as that society should provide enabling environment for them to do so, right? So you see, after the first assembly, there has been lots of research, report, what happened in the country. So they say that no, these elderly people have some elderly people are opportunities to the society and to the family, and they came forward with all these answers. They came forward with all these proposal and things when they were discussing about an aging population at the Second World Assembly, right? Then we have the UN Declaration of Human Rights, UN Principle for Older Persons, and participation, right? In many parts of the world, the basic economic, civil, social, and political rights of older persons as pronounced in the UN Declaration of Human Rights. Who has gone through the UN Declaration of Human Rights? You are in the I think last semester. Is it your last semester? I think you have gone through the UN Declaration of Human Rights 1948, because it's all about human rights and social justice. So it says subsequently, yes, Devina, it's good. You everybody, if you have not gone through this document, please go and read this document. It's online. Yes, Vinesh. Very good. So as subsequently reaffirmed in the UN Principle for Older Person in 1991. So they have taken some of the ideas, some of the, how do you say, the clause in the UN Declaration of Human Rights, okay? Then they have developed the UN Principle for Older Person, right? Emerging most prominently in the paradigm of right for the elderly is participation. They have focused on the UN Principle for Older Person and their participation in the society, right? And they came forward, therefore, policy initiative. They said that because you see, it says violates, right? Political of older person as pronounced in the UN Declaration are subsequently reaffirmed in the UN Principle for Older Person are often violated. So if it is violated, we have to look for solution. Yes? Sorry, 1 minute. Sorry, guys. Thank you. Someone has come to drop a bouquet for me. So therefore, policy initiative, they said that now the government should take into consideration in the policy, because they are violating the rights of the older person, they have to take into consideration about participation of elderly people in the policy initiative. It's all about empowerment of older person, security, independence, involvement in decision making, recognition, access to information and knowledge, realization of the potentialities, access to decent living condition. In one way or another, you will see that empowerment, security, independence, and others, if they are provided with all these elements, okay, these core things, the quality of life of these people will be enhanced, right? Any question, guys? Any question? Is it clear? Is it clear? Raise your hand. Okay. Good. So now let's see. We said that there's a problem, then they say, no, it's not a problem. We have to look for strategies to solve the problem. Then we have what we need to do. Say, for example, security, independence, participation, blah, blah, blah. Now, we have some implication of democratic change for social policy and society. So the contemporary society is marked by globalization. There is a significant increase in the number of elderly persons across the globe, and as demographic projection indicate a rising trend, and with more women having greater longevity than men. There is a need for better planning, okay, and caring for the elderly to cater for their needs. There are many stereotypes associated with aging, both positive and negative, challenges and opportunities. There is a need to cater for the welfare of our elderly people, right? Population. So how? So an aging population make demands on both social and economic policies. Social, par exemple, vous êtes bizarre, il y a the sorti. And demand on social, c'est all about the social aid. No, sorry. Nous donnons pas activité par recommandation senior citizen. Economic policies, quand vous vieux, nous besoin de notre pension, nous besoin contribuer dans notre healthcare, tout ça. So economic development policies to promote development and economic growth to be able to sustain jobs and pension for older persons. Ça veut dire implication of demographic change. OK? Si le gouvernement peut faire policy, right? Nous besoin, si nous envie the betterment of the life of the elderly people, we have to give them the enough pension. In terms of social policy, we will need to define retirement and healthcare policies and take decisions about roles and function and support for elderly in society so that the older person can enjoy a better quality of life. OK? Pareillement, nous cause opportunity and challenges. Ici, nous peut dire, il y a des challenges, des implications qui nous disent que le gouvernement est dans le côté économique et social. Right? So you have so many, we have gone through many challenges and opportunity that you should highlight in your book, and then when you're doing revision, you know that there is not only one opportunity and one challenges as we discussed in one of the slides, but you will see loads of opportunities and challenges, and some of them there is repetition, but you have to know how to combine them, right? And then we have, let's see, Mauritius. So in Mauritius, we have said that it's bound to have serious repercussion on the society and the government, right? They say repercussion because they say it's a challenges in terms of, like we said, social, for instance, because the society, family, and the government have to double the efforts regarding the provision of welfare to the elderly, and economic because the budgetary implication in the provision of services for the old people. That what we have seen in the previous slide, it's repeat in this slide because this is in the context of Mauritius. So the government tries to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor, right? Those who are age 60 plus would be otherwise poor and they lack the income support they have while actively been working in their young. So payment of benefits is usually done, from Minister of Social Security and referred to as Social Security and other social benefits. The Beveridge Report of 1992 was considered as a landmark for a plan of social insurance. Titmus and Smith recommended compulsory contributory pension for those working in the formal sector, but would exclude those working in the informal sector, unskilled and low-paid workers. So, informal sector, par exemple, ne doit pas contribuer, un plombier, right? So, tout ça là, quand il 60 ans, quand il donne de pension, tout ça là, gouvernement, parce qu'ils ne pas contribuer, ils ne pas CSG, tout ça, right? So they would continue to benefit from the universal social security, but those were designed to supplement non-contributory pension and not meant to replace, right? So according to the actuarial review undertaken by Battersby from the UK in 2008, the main purpose was to examine the likely future trend in the income and outgo of NPF and in the balance of the fund asset. Firstly, when we are taking the money from, we have an aging population, we have to pay loads and loads of pension to the elderly people. So we have to see how we are going to capture money from elsewhere. So we have to see income and outgo of the NPF, National Pension Fund. So the salient points of the said report are that in the next 15 years, at that time in 2008, they said that in the next 15 years, there will be a marked surplus from the NPF. Nevertheless, subsequently, the expenditure, will surpass the contribution income. So the return on investment and assumption will define the precise timing of the change. And it seems that the NPF will decline in the next 20 years or so, but we have to see if it's true or not. At national level, it is gratifying to note there is commitment at the level of the government to fight all forms of exclusion through good governance, respect, human rights, and sustainable human development. So the concept of inclusive society and empowerment, we have gone through this, and about empowerment, participation, inclusiveness. We have seen how, all that that has been discussed in Madrid and in Vienna, has been taken into consideration by the government of Mauritius. And they said that the present national policy on the elderly, I said you go and read it, it's online, is one of the various initiatives of the government in that direction. And we also have a national strategy document on elderly on the website of the Ministry of Health. You go and look into it, and you will see how they are working for elderly people, in favor of the elderly people. So the national government policies and development strategies are focusing on the concept, right? On the above concept with a view to making them become productive. That's why they say that after 60, you can continue to work up to 65. Independent. Why independent? They're trying to make them more autonomous is not at the level best. You will see that the money given to them is not but not enough. Like if the person has to go to the doctor, taking the taxis or taking, I think, exaggerated price in Mauritius taxi. There should have been Uber, or should have been like a meter, taxi meter, they say, like in India. But I think the money for some who has been working could be enough, because they will receive pension, work pension. But there are lots of discussion around these pension things, whether it's enough or not. So, but still, it's good to have 14,000 rupees. So the national policy on elderly, as I said, here I have highlighted, as I said, when it was drafted, it has taken into consideration all that has been discussed in the assembly and at the International Day of Elderly People, and the policy initiative of the national policy on elderly evolve around these following themes. It's about preparation for retirement, health and nutrition, housing, income security, employment, intergeneration relationship, social welfare and leisure, physical activity. You see, there is element that is found in the principle that are found in the document that has been discussed in the international conferences. So you see, there is a national study paper and action plan on aging. Okay, so this paper aims at translating government strategic vision to provide more protection and security to the elderly through the adoption of a multidisciplinary approach, as also being developed. If you go and see the exam paper of last semester, there was a question to list, okay? There was a question just to list. When I say list, you have to just put the national strategy paper on action plan, blah, blah, blah. To list 3 policies that government has put forward for the well-being of people, something like that. People have written all this, and also they said about pension. Right, pension is a policy, but I wanted to see the national strategy paper and action plan and things like that. So when you have question to list, you have to list. You don't like literature, but it's only 2 points, 3 points, right? So you must know how to answer. So the the document permits the human dimension in its strategies while emphasizing the gender and disability perspective with a view to effectively meeting the specific needs of these 2 important segments of the elderly population. You see, inclusiveness about gender and disability. It also addresses the issue of elderly person living alone, right? Those living alone, what need to be done for them? That's why you see now we have this home visit, okay? Home visit, carers allowance, all these are strategies, action, following the policy and action plan of the government. So the other key area relates to the economic dimension with a valorization of the role of the elderly from a passive recipient of services to that of an active contributor to the economic value creation, right? So these are a few points from the document. The paper also elaborates on public-private collaboration, how government, the private sector, and the NGOs should collaborate together to foster service innovation in the sector with the support of the civil society. As I said, partnership between the 3 main actors, okay? There are strategic objectives, how the quality of life, how elderly people can live a life with dignity and self-esteem, right? So it's by, there was 8 strategic objectives. There is, because the paper is still here. So creating an enabling environment. How we create an enable environment for these people, okay? These are the things that we need to know. So creating an enabling environment is all about accessibility. if the elderly person is outside the house, there should be easy accessibility for the person to go around by himself. For example, if he is on a wheelchair, I'm saying if he is on a wheelchair, there should be like pavement for the person to go autonomously. But I know in Mauritius it's very difficult. But if you go around the world, in many countries, you will see people on wheelchair going around alone everywhere. Right? And the bus or low floor. So these are enable environment. And in your in the home setting, you can put camera, you can put like handrails, things like that. Fostering partnership with the corporate sector. Okay. Fostering. So as we know, as we need more money, so we have to go because corporate sector or profit making. So we can have money from these people, like we are doing we did NGO CSR and social work. So like we have the National Social Inclusion Foundation, we have the finance bill where these people are providing money to do activities for elderly people. Enhancing the social fabric by bridging the intergeneration gap. So we have to do loads of activities. Say, for example, Senior Citizen Council is doing activities on intergenerational activities, and strengthening international cooperation to provide service and process innovation in the elderly sector. Like Mauritius is international cooperation. We are a member state of the United Nations. So when there are activities, we go. When there are forums, we go and discuss and we learn from others. Okay, so these are the things that the paper say. So the National Pension Scheme, it's all about for those 65. You will see the first old pension for those above 65 was paid in 1950 at a rate of 15 rupees monthly. So in Mauritius, in 1950, it was 15 rupees, and it was mean tested and non-contributory, right? You didn't have to contribute. So in 1953, the qualifying age for women were reduced to 65 to 60. In 1958, it became universal. In 1958, since 1958, it became universal. It was still non-contributory, like we say, universal pension. And at that time, the British government was looking into contributory pension system as well. But still, we know up to now, we have this universal pension, but we also have the contributory pension. The pension was taxable as income, thus a proportion to be recovered by the wealthy. The same is happening now. The pension you receive, and if you are working, and then when they tax it, at the end of the day, you don't receive 14,000. It's it's 15% less than the 14,000. So the government also said that this was a temporary measure, and that this scheme will be dismantled as soon as proper system of contributory would be put in place. But you can see that up to now, it's still the same. So since January 2019, the basic pension, you will see the trend. And today, I have put today here, but today it's 14,000 and up, right? So this is a national pension scheme. And then we have the institutional care, recreational center. These are the policies that the government has created. We have James Bertie David, Celsi Sagar Angulam. We have at Belmore, we have Sushila Angulam. And then what are being done at this center is to provide accommodation in double bedroom, food and beverage, indoor entertainment, swimming pool activities, outdoor touring coach, and targeted empowerment stock. This project aims to ensure, right, comfortable, safe, recreational, and hospitable retreat to our elderly people and disabled residents, and that's giving them opportunities to cater for their daily routine life and to enjoy with their peers, right? So institutional care, and then we have the Senior Citizen Council, which is a council that has been established in 1985, and in 2022, there was 825 senior citizens, and you will see in this there are a number of activities that are being carried out, and if you are 55, you can register to one of the senior citizen associations, and then the senior citizen association get the registration at the senior citizen council, and they benefit from all these activities that are mentioned here, such as organization of work talks and aging issues, healthcare and nutrition, legal counseling, management of association, quiz, drama, dance, and storytelling competition. So you see, the government has number of policies and strategies for elderly people. Now, further reading, I have put here, you have to go and read, go and look into newsletter, publication about, as I said, if you want to know the recent trend of the trend of an aging population. And like in Mauritius, you can go on the website of the Ministry of Social Security and you will see the number of activities that is being organized by this for the elderly people, right? Any question, guys? Any question? Was it clear? Was it too fast? I know the free slides I have been a bit fast because I want you to go and read. Yes, very clear. Very good. So I want you to go today itself. I'm going to post the slide today itself before I close. And you take the slides, you just go through it, right? Because, hold on, I stop record. Hold on. Stop recording. Right. So what I advise you, à la case, je te lis ça mon slide là. Moi pas d'une question à part de mon module, à part de ce qui est dans le module content. Alors si je te connais dans mon slide même, qui me peut faire, disons Canada, moi mettre ou ça moi mettre oui dans les années 60 beaucoup de gens parlent l'Angleterre mais alors l'Angleterre so aging population to in high example like that je finis commence faire the reading which is in your tutorial là les pour plus rentrer dans la tête comment mon dire c'est un module extra facile parce que tous les autres nous trouvent ça nous trouvons un bien faire pique-nique. OK, nous trouvons un monde faire pique-nique, nous trouvons un monde à l'hôpital, et il y a un spécial queue pour un elderly, ou soit payer à côté de moi, nous avons dit oui, il y a ça, mais quand ça fait comme ça, je vais mettre l'exemple, un challengers, disons. Parce que, anyway, any question que je peux gagner, je vais mettre challengers, je vais disons, quality of life. Une question me donne une quality of life. So, quand j'ai quality of life, blablabla, mais quand j'ai dit oui, mais je toujours un challenge pour la famille. Et ça fait comme ça. Je vais montrer comment je vais answer one question. Right? So, I think one more thing. Est-ce que je toujours envie de classe samedi ou bien si je préfère la semaine tantôt, I will not mind. Parce qu'ils me connaissent beaucoup de monde et dans une activité ou samedi. Nous dans la semaine, nous faisons des 7 heures en hiver. Si je ne pas mal, moi, samedi, je donne un cours, mais je connais beaucoup parce qu'ils me retrouvent ici à 13. Je connais plus que 30 enfants dans sa classe. Je me trouve ici 13. Moi, on est, they are not here. Et moi, je suis content qu'ils soient tous présents parce que, comment dire, ça... Oui,
c'est comme ça même. Au fait, ça va pas être comme ça même là. Parce que pas plus que ça qui join. La dernière fois aussi, c'était la même chose.
En 12 même.
Ouais, pas plus. 12, 15.
Madame, je préfère la semaine si vous avez suffisamment d'élèves qui approuvent pour la semaine.
OK. Okay, raise your hand if you want to have your class on during the, okay, Chevy,
Madame,
oui.
c'est mieux si on passe un message dans le groupe WhatsApp parce que
Allez, oui, et tu m'envoies. Et tu m'envoies
oui,
combien?
parce qu'on a
allez.
on a presque 36 à 40 élèves dans la classe, mais parce que il y en a qui a travail dans le samedi, donc c'est pas capable de rentrer, mais nous cas passer
C'est
un
ça
petit
qui m'a
message
dit.
de groupe avant.
Oui, c'est ça qui m'a dit parce que je connais dans nurse, je connais dans les autres classes, moi, ceux qui travaillent dans le médical ou bien ceux qui travaillent dans une compagnie, tout ça, je ne suis pas capable. Mais moi, mon volontaire, parce que Madame Gangia, moi, je besoin d'être avec eux parce que moi, je n'ai pas envie de perdre la classe. Parce que faire ce que je fais quand nous discutons en classe, nous apprendre, enfin pas apprendre très bien, il y a des affaires qui rentrent dans la tête qui nous tous les temps nous pour rappeler. Mais si vous pas sur classe, si vous pouvez lire manuel là, ou pas capable. Mais moi pas envie de pénaliser personne, right? Mais moi tu peux envie de nous une classe les 24 août, right? Une classe les 24 août. Et moi je suis content si, comment dire, si je finis dire moi, quand nous avons fait, right? Quand nous pouvons faire, je te propose moi une date, je dis moi, ok, madame, tout le monde peut livrer, disons, avant 24. Là, moi, je peux envoyer madame Gangia un mail, je dis, comme ça qui peut arriver, je pas envie de me élèves, je perds, mais je peux envie de donner ça pour là, ça, là. It's up to you. Là, si moi, je trouve, si je free, ça, là, je dis, ok, we can go ahead. OK? Pour bien flexible, mais jusqu'à, comment dire, sa troisième session, le 14 septembre, là, pour face-to-face, nous pouvons guetter comment nous pouvons faire, parce que nous ne pouvons pas déranger à cause des enfants. On a envie de tous les enfants venir en classe. Sinon, nous pouvons faire la même, nous mettre Zoom, nous pouvons faire. Right?
Possiblement, madame, man face-to-face, ça, presque de tout habitué venir face-to-face, juste online.
OK.
Et la fois.
Allez, ça veut dire, I will make it a must le 14 septembre, moi pour venir faire face-to-face, right? But, bear in mind, mon envie, je te réviser parce qu'off l'école, moi, dire l'année dernière, ben, on a bien mal travail parce qu'il beaucoup participé présent et moi, connais, j'étais dans 17 actions qui peut aller, mais mon conseil, donne 15 minutes, pas beaucoup, 15 minutes pour lire les autres slides. Et je poster aujourd'hui même. Je peux poster attends, je poster toujours comme ça. Oui, blackboard. Non, ça. Non. Je peux faire hidden. Wait, ça veut dire presentation. Right. Je peux poster les autres assignments, mais il y a 5 minutes si je peux cause aux autres. Hidden tout ça. Oh non. Ça. Visible, right? Ça veut dire assignment. OK. Assignment. Visible. OK. On poste les autres assignments là, right? Après, on finit de poster les autres première unit, right? Je vais get this assignment là, vous êtes, please.
Yes, madam.
Okay. So assignment say the quality of life of people has become relevant with the demographic shift that has resulted in growing of population. C'est qu'il nous discute, right? Discuss on the determinants that have an impact on the quality of life of elderly person in Mauritius, right? In a unit, the quality of life, je lis ça, et adapter ça avec ça, mais moi besoin l'exemple, et moi pas besoin de trop long, right? Et si je peux gagner un petit problème, je vais ma connaître dans next session, right? I have to stop because I have another class, okay? All those who are doing dissertation with me, please, moi pas personne qui me contacte moi, mais moi peux wait for that, okay? Right? Moi Chevy ou avec moi, non, Chevy?
Je ne sais pas encore, madame. Je n'ai pas aucun mail. Je ne suis pas au courant.
Pas de email. Non, moi, je finis envoyer autres OK, moi pourrais check ça. Là, moi pourrais envoyer parce qu'il y a d'autres mails, ils besoin mettre contactez-moi. Ça les autres besoin contactez-moi. No awards, madam. Okay, madam. Thank you. Right. Okay, I will let you know. Right.
Number
Okay,
of
bye.
words for the assignment, madam. Number of words for the assignment.
Number what? As usual, 1,500 to 2,000. Not more than that. Not more, and not cut and paste, please, because your assignment will be viewed by an external examiner. Right. So no cut and paste. Simple example. Right. Okay, I have to stop. I have to start another session. Right. Goodbye. Hope you enjoyed this session. And as I said, go and read your manual, and then we will continue. Okay. Bye. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you, madam.
Bye,
Thank
bye,
you.
madam.
Bye, madam.
Bye.